my face is super dry. Do you have any chapstick? My lips are super, I'm just parched. I'm parched. So, welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. This is your first time joining me. Thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, we're deep into that Mercury RX. The MERC. We're deep into it. Hi, Dad. And man, yeah, things are getting real potent. Really, really potent. This is kind of going to be like a energy update slash chat slash rant. I don't really know what to expect except some raw, honest truth. Hopefully it comes out nicely. So Mercury in Pisces. I don't know. I kind of wonder if Pisces drowned the shit out of Mercury. I'm just wondering. How are you guys dealing with Mercury? I had to take a break yesterday. It was too much. This energy is just too much. Right, alchemy? Yes. Can someone please tell Mercury to calm the hell down? Calm down, Mercury. So the energies are very purgative, okay? Despite being very sensitive, I typically don't have this kind of issue with Mercury. It's kind of like, people having a hard time, a little more impatient, whatever. I'm fine. I'll be more patient. But I've never had such a difficult time personally with a Mercury retrograde, with any type of... I didn't even have this hard a time when 5 planets went into retrograde at the same time. I was still in control of myself. I think the addition of that Piscean energy really just threw a curveball in all of this for everyone. So let's talk a little bit about how the energies are going. I'm finding people are having such a difficult time tolerating behaviors, and it's not just behaviors that they are having, that others are exhibiting towards them. It's just a hard time tolerating anything. You see other people arguing, you're not even part of it. It's hard for you to process that. It's hard for you to accept that. It's hard for you to just stay in your own lane and let people, have their own little interactions. People at work are having a really hard time with their work stuff. A lot of like really old things popping up. I'm also noticing quite a few people. My own personal process. I'm really good at talking about my own personal process because I'm going through it myself. So this is not speculation. This is like, I'm really like, wow. I'm noticing different people are reflecting back to me certain characteristics of other relationships, other connections I've had with people in the past that I personally thought I had already sifted through like thoroughly. I do understand, no matter how much you think you've learned from a specific relationship or circumstance or whatever it is, there's always deeper levels of that learning. But man, like, gosh, whew, whew. There were these little quirks my mom used to have that would drive me bonkers. And when I came back in 2017 and began, oh no, 2018, and began taking care of her. And I took care of her for almost a year. Um, I had released the triggering. When she would do these things again, it didn't trigger me. But I'm seeing now there are people exhibiting these characteristics of hers, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I can't go back there. And it's like, why? Why is that? Is this something that's still unresolved? Or were we simply able to rationalize that with that particular person, we didn't address the actual trigger? I think maybe for some of us, and this might be what's going on for me, for some of us, we didn't address the actual trigger. We addressed that person that was being used to deliver the triggering. So in actuality, we didn't work on the trigger. We instead were like, well, you know what? They are who they are. We're just gonna, kind of just, all right, we're just not gonna react. They are who they are, and just leave it at that. So if that's the case, I didn't really address the trigger, because there's some things my mom, man, she would do this thing where she would call me, and I'd be like, okay, I gotta go. I would talk to her for a few minutes, and okay, I gotta go. Then she would call me 5 minutes later, like, I'm kind of busy right now. I will have to call you back later. And then she will call me again and again and again and again. And it is like, what the fuck? Boundaries. I can't, it's still hard for me to enforce boundaries. And so I do recognize part of my personal Mercury retrograde action has to do with boundaries, enforcing boundaries. And I think what's also going on, there's subtleties within those lessons. And maybe this might resonate for some of you. It takes a lot for me to finally enforce a boundary. By the time I mention something about boundaries to whoever needs me to mention it to them, I'm pretty much done. I'm ready to cut you out. I'm ready to cut you off. I'm done. And that's not really the best course of action, because are you really addressing it? No, it's kind of like an avoidance. So maybe at this point, these people are going to run into each other. Yeah. Maybe at this point, we're learning lessons in a much deeper way. Where, do you need to cut people off? Not really. If you've already established a boundary, that's what you needed to do. You didn't need to be like, okay, I established a boundary. Now I'm afraid of how you're going to react, so I'm going to cut you off. I'm just going to cut you off. And I'm recognizing maybe some of my older ways of coping, older ways of processing certain triggers involved a lot of low-key avoidance. Many of us who think that we've been doing the actual work, whether you have or haven't, even if you have, I'm pretty sure there's aspects of those lessons that you are actively avoiding and maybe not realizing, like active avoidance of specific subcategories within that lesson. Let me just see what you guys, we skipped over the trigger and associated the person's trigger. Yes. Echo. Yes. I'm seeing that's kind of what I was doing. I didn't address the actual trigger. I just assigned the trigger a person and then learned how to tolerate the person instead of addressing the trigger. That's exactly. Ooh, nice. Love it. Same here. It's taken a lot, but I'm getting less tolerant and standing up for myself more. That's good. I'm trying so hard not to let the ego set the boundaries. So ego, what is wrong with the ego setting the boundary? Curious what that's about. What is negative or bad about the ego setting the boundaries? How does that present itself? girl. Um, I'm just wondering because my ego works the opposite. When my ego flares up, it actually shrinks me and I have a harder time um, expressing myself, voicing my needs. When my ego is more healthy, um, then I feel more balanced. Mine is so related to my emotions at the moment. It makes it less set in stone. Gotcha. Yeah. I can see how an ego could totally, um, I can see how an ego could totally, like, really make things more muddled with the whole, um, committing to a specific outcome or trying really hard to cling to absolutes, because really, if you're gonna constantly I was gonna say consistently, but consistently try and deal with absolutes only, that's going to make it very difficult to function in a society where the only absolute is change. The only constant is change. I don't want them to get the best of me. I can get triggered very easy. I'm working not to be like that. So you don't want them to get the best of you. There's something in that statement, and it's a very common statement that's used. There's something in that, though. Don't you want people to have the best of you? And is it, I don't know, maybe I need to think on that a little bit more in a quiet way. I don't really know where the thoughts are going with that, but there's something about that statement, neither right nor wrong, just a need to further explore the potentialities of what that actually means. Let's see. Make you mad and react to make you look bad. Wouldn't that be the worst of you? 777. Ooh, 9955. All these beautiful numbers. Wouldn't that be the worst of you? I'm not too sure. People seems to look at boundaries as you having a grudge, not as protecting your energy and peace. Yeah, that's somehow, some people do take it as that, and we have to give them the freedom to receive that expression of boundary in whatever way they feel is important or appropriate for them. It's just these energies make cerebral functioning really difficult lately. Like, not much makes sense to me the past few days. Not much. It's been really, yeah, it's been really a weird few days. Yeah, foggy, definitely foggy. I'm good at giving advice and throwing truths to others, but I know I'm not as self-aware as I need to be in my own healing, getting there. Ooh, that's important to recognize. So Jennifer says, I'm good at giving advice and throwing truths to others, but I know I'm not as self-aware as I need to be in my own healing. I think when you're giving these truths to other people and you're hyper aware of other people's needs, other people's circumstance, though they're actually reflections of internal struggles you're having. The more I do readings, the more I allow myself to tap into the messages and informations that needs to be shared, the more I recognize I'm not exempt from that. Most of those messages can apply to me in my personal life, personal circumstance, personal lessons, and I often find myself quietly in my head, oh, oh. So yeah, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. I was talking to well, I was texting back and forth with a dear friend of mine, and she had, I don't know how we got on the topic of it, but she does kind of similar work to what I do. She helps to empower people in different ways. And I had said to her, isn't it beautiful how the things that you've been struggling to heal within yourself, you'll find a client sitting before you, reflecting back the very things that you were too afraid to look at, to actually let yourself see when you look in the mirror. And as you help them heal through this, you're getting the perspective that you need to begin healing within yourself, without going beyond the comfort zone, going too far beyond the comfort zone where you're so uncomfortable you just shut down. Because sometimes that's what people who are highly empathic have a tendency to do. And this is why we are consistently looking for other people to assist. Whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, if you're a highly sensitive empath, you're doing this. You're doing this. You initiate interactions where you put yourself in compromised situations because you're overextending yourself, offering things you don't need to offer, all for the sake of helping. And really, those things can be seen as something bad, detrimental to you and your health. You're not going to help anyone anymore. You still will. This is you. This is how you function. This is how your heart functions. So instead of trying to be someone else, why don't you just recognize this is you? And when you go to help someone, allow yourself to maybe take a moment. What is it about this person's story, this person's struggle, that's resonating so deeply within me that I want to help? Because they're probably mirroring something within me that I am not ready to really look at. And if you allow yourself to just be who you are, and see that the people that you help, the people that you have a tendency to tolerate more than others, even though logically you shouldn't, you'll get a lot more answers if you're honest with yourself like that. Like for a while, and it's usually it's usually some really compromised energetic environment that gets me started with this type of thinking. But I had to come to the realization, you know what, I can't be anyone other than myself. I'm going to always want to help. People are always going to be drawn to me needing help. And I'm always going to find myself wanting to, or just flat out going out of my way to offer things that I probably should not have offered. Ooh, 555. Did you see that? No? That's fine. Only I needed to see it. But yeah, no, that's just, I'm forever going to be that way. That's who I am. That's who I am. And instead of like beating myself up, like, girl, you're so stupid. Why you keep doing that? Why you keep this? Why you keep that? Blah, 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 blah. No. Like, okay, I probably shouldn't have. What is it about them? What's resonating? What is it? What is it about my history as the human being that I am today? What is it within their story that's being reflected back to me as my own? What is that? What is that? And if you can do that, if you can be honest with yourself in that way and have a real conversation with yourself, you can discover quite a bit. You can empower yourself quite a bit. Mercury retrograde or not, honesty with yourself is very important. It's very, very important. A lot of us have a hard time. The elephant and the donkey are fighting. What the fuck does that mean? Democrats and Republicans? That's what they are, right? Elephant and a donkey?
No idea.
I think so. Hey, by the way, super triggered today. Are you guys aware of the selective services? You guys aware of that? Michael goes, oh no. Let me just mention this real quick. I won't rant too hard into it, but one of my kids is applying for college, and apparently it's required. You have to agree to be registered in selective services. It's required. I was like, what? I didn't know this. I didn't know this. And he was upset. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? I don't get it. And I had to look it up. Yeah, that's law at 18 years old. Yeah, fuck that law. My child will not murder people for you. I'm just saying. And, if you want to volunteer for military, I mean, that's up to you. It's okay. That's your decision, But to force, so when you turn 18 as a male, in order to apply for college, in order to renew permits, IDs, licenses, you have to agree. I'm just like, what? So, yeah, we're just going to let that go ahead and simmer over there in the corner. Because the shit that'll come out my mouth. The shit that'll come out my mouth on that topic. Not when it's Mercury retrograde. I just, if you guys have information, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, I can't. And when I say I can't, what I mean is I cannot allow myself to spiral from my own thoughts on any given topic. And that's another thing that I'm finding very, very prominent with this retrograde. Like, it's just girl, grab a hold of yourself. Just shake it up. Shake yourself up. Yeah. Just a lot of shit doesn't make sense in the world lately. A lot of yeah. I'm not a pacifist per se, but I feel like unless my child already had it within his head that this was something he wanted to do, just okay. Oh wow, your son-in-law said he's never going to college. So Penny, I'm sorry, Penny. Penny says, don't worry, Mama, world peace is very near. Before peace is achieved, tremendous violence must first be experienced. Peace is coming. Peace is absolutely coming. It's a part of our birthright. It's a part of why these children are being born in droves. But before we collectively choose that peace, we must experience a level of violence and suffering that would cause us to absolutely refuse to not have peace be brought. And that's what concerns me. That's what concerns me. I'm also very emotional from this planetary thing going on. We are not helpless. We're not helpless, guys. Let's see. wow. He's about to go. Yeah, if it's mandatory, is it still volunteering? Kind of one hell of an oxymoron, huh? Mandatory volunteering. This crazy ass shit. This world is crazy. Okay, so Stan says if he doesn't, he won't be eligible for federal aid. He doesn't need federal aid. Not in exchange for his soul. I don't think so. If I gotta work 2 jobs to afford what he needs, I will. Hi. So I didn't spiral.
What?
Press stand helped me reel it back in.
What?
I came very close.
What?
I was talking about selective services.
Okay.
Yeah, I came very close.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they realized it. I came very close. Very close. I don't know if you guys noticed. I reeled myself back in with the help of Press Stand. You need spiritual aid. Let's see. What are you talking about, Elsie? That's not truth for most. Everyone does not need to experience such destruction. I don't think it's good to spread that. What fear are you accusing me of spreading? A recognition of how the human consciousness functions, because so many of us have this weird quirk where we're like, nah, it's because they made stupid decisions. It's because of them. They're not me. You know, failing to realize that could be you. You're 1/2 step away from it, but you like to believe that you're, and it's not fear. It's a recognition. It's a recognition of how the human mind functions. And not talking about it and just being, oh, love and light, let's prance around. And, you know, that ain't going to help people to realize this kind of shit. It's just not. Thank you, Jim. Salty Sea Goat asked me to reel it in. Reeling it in.
You all right?
Sometimes I need like a little bit of like, hey, girl, reel it in. Reel it in. Yeah, I mean, I really, and not to address anyone specifically, but I really fucking hate when people are like, no, you can't talk about that. That's going to spread fear. Fuck it. Maybe people need to be afraid of specific things. We all experience fear already. Maybe, thank you, honey. Maybe what we need to do is recognize certain fears should be acknowledged to empower us. Because that's why fear exists to begin with. It's to bring your attention to specific things that you're ignoring. That's the purpose of fear. And so to say like, no fear. Okay, fear already exists. Fear already exists. Harness that shit. You're afraid of something, make sure it don't happen then. Make sure it don't happen. You know? That's it. That's it. Like, make sure it don't happen. Like, hey, this is a potentiality. We're going to do everything we can to make sure this potentiality is not what we get. He's about to get run over by the bicycle rider. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, he's got it. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Wah! Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yeah,
Hold on.
you're about to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy in the corner. Sorry, guys. The guy at the corner, he was working holding a sign. Yeah. He was dancing. He got his little like shit.
That's every day.
Is he there every day?
Every day.
That was good. I was dancing with him. He was looking at me. I was dancing. Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Where were we? Fear is a highlighter. I love that. I love that. That's all it really is. It's a highlighter. It's not something to be avoided. It's not something to, because how do you learn lessons that are avoided? You don't. It continues to repeat over and over and over. And again, I'm not really addressing a specific individual, but that's such an important thing to recognize. To be afraid of fear. To try and silence the people who are actually speaking unrestricted. Because of what? Because of what? Because what people might be afraid? You're already afraid of so many different things. Everybody has some level of fear in their life. But to be able to recognize that fear, that innate ability of human beings to experience and have fear mold them into who they are. The recognition of that is powerful. So fear avoided causes you to shrink back. It causes you to imprison yourself. It causes you to avoid your own growth because what if? What if something bad happens? We can't allow that. There is no good. There is no bad. There's just experiences that we as individuals and as humanity at large need to experience alone as well as together. So I think avoiding a healthy communication of potential things that people might fear is just as bad as actually peddling the fear itself. Being able to recognize things, call things what they are. Nothing wrong with that. At least for me, my personal belief, nothing wrong with that. An agenda is a coin. It's like a coin. It's a currency. Coins have two sides, right? Every agenda will have one side that perpetuates the extreme negativities of it, while the other side encourages to avoid. But really, all agendas are nothing but a form of currency. A currency that's used to help humanity travel from one end of the spectrum to the other. From one polarity to the next. All existing on the same plane of existence. And if you're going to be afraid of something, understand, only like things can exist on one plane. So are love and hate two opposite? Oh no, you cannot talk about hate. You don't want to perpetuate that. You don't want to empower hate. Hate is so bad. Don't program the world to recognize hate. Hate is nothing more than a differing degree of placement on the same plane of existence as love. When does hate stop being hate and start becoming love? Because hate can be on the far left and love can be on the far right. And when you slide that pendulum slightly to the right, you decrease the degree of hate. It then becomes dislike. And then it becomes ambivalence. And then it becomes, I don't like it. Oh, I love it. So is it really different? No, it's not. It's the same thing. Varying degrees of placement on a singular plane of existence. I reckon fear is the opposite of love. Could we also reckon that fear is love unacknowledged, unexplored? Could we? Could we? We could. Or we can choose not to. There's no real right or wrong. Whatever gets you to think deeper, question more, and seek answers from within yourself, I say is a good thing. I say it's a very good thing. You know, there's a lot of, I'm noticing quite a few, I've tried to kind of just stay out of it and just kind of stick to my own journey, my own thoughts. But like, there's quite a few people who have all these beautiful, beautiful working theories. Beautiful. In theory, they're superior. This logic, the logic is beautiful and empowering, but it's kind of ugly at the same time. I'll tell you why. So I had recently posted about how... Are you going to go back around?
No. It's right.
I recently posted how this family in Arizona needed help with a legal situation involving their special needs child. It has to do with the school system. You know, the mother, the child's mother has to work, obviously. She works because she has to pay the bills. And, you know, they're not asking for handouts. They're asking for, like referral or advice, something, anything, a person, an organization they can reach out to figure out what they can do to advocate for their child. And someone goes on the post and is like, the child belongs at home. It's a better environment at home. Like, you know what? You can kindly shut the fuck up, because unless you're volunteering to pay for the in real life needs of this family, because guess what, guys? It is so easy for other people to have this stance. Yeah, no, children should be taught at homes because you're being a selfish parent. I mean, fuck. Who the hell are you to work? You should be at home taking care of you. Meanwhile, who's going to pay the bills? Who is that? Yeah, they need food. They need to pay for shelter. And if they get handouts for that, oh, you need to get your ass to work. You just milking people. Kindly shut the fuck up. There is a time and a place to share your theoretical thoughts and opinions. But when it's a call to action and someone actually is asking for help, legitimately needs help, your theories are bullshit. And I can honestly say this because I agree with that theory. That's my personal stance, okay? It's good for you to go ahead and, you know, be fully present raising the children. But let's be real here. Let's be real here. Who pays the bills? You pay the bills? Are they going to pay the bills? The one who's telling you that, you know, you're being a bad parent because you're working, because you're not present for your child's upbringing? You know? Because a lot of people, they have their opinions. And like, really, if you're not actively contributing, what are you trying to do? Exactly, Jenna. Not every parent has that privilege. I, as a woman and a mother of hella many children, when I became a mother, I had the blessing of a husband who worked. And yes, we had to be on a budget, but it allowed for me to stay home and be fully present in our children's lives. I'm very, very lucky that I was able to do that. That I have a husband who supports me in that. Is everyone sharing my circumstance? I mean, we're not rich. We're not rich by any means. We are not rich. We're not comfortable. Okay. And I stayed home. I forewent all the nice little things that other people, our friends, were experiencing, vacations, places, and new toys, and this and that. And like, no, I want to be fully present. I'm going to cook every single meal from scratch. I'm going to homeschool. I did all of this. We're still doing all of this. But does that mean just because I'm able to do it that it's appropriate for everyone else? No, it doesn't. And this Mercury retrograde is really causing a lot of these elitist type of mindsets to come fully forward, fully, fully forward. I'm just kind of like awed. I'm really, really in awe of people and their behaviors lately. I don't know, maybe some people would say that about me and my behaviors lately too, because this retrograde has really affected me. It's really, really affected me. Let's see. Let's see. Michelle, thank you so much for that. Yeah, that's what they're needing to do right now. That's what their plan is. Um, they're planning to challenge, I believe, challenge the school board, and they're looking for lawyers who can assist. Um, yeah, that, I mean, that's really their only option. I just find it really disgusting that people can be so judgmental and, oh, it's because this, it's because that. Well, okay, did you ever consider that, this family has been struggling through this for how many years at this point? And the stress of that on a single mother, the stress of that. And that pissed me off so bad. That pissed me off so bad. Yeah, someone commented that on the post, and I semi went off. Semi. Is that you volunteering? You gonna pay for all their shit? Yeah. Mom can stay home. She's fully capable of staying home. She's a fucking nurse. She can take her son. She'll administer all the meds. You pay for all his medical bills, okay? You pay their mortgage. You pay his medical bills, you pay their mortgage, you pay for all the specialists he has to see, all the special food and the medications he has to take, because this poor child has been having 10 to 15 major seizures a day. And people can be like, oh, all he needs is CBD. Get the fuck out of here. They make their own CBD. They're talking to the growers. They know Jaden's father, who was the one that really put Charlotte's Web on the map. They know about CBD to THC tincture ratios. They know about all of that. Let's fucking get ourselves out of our own asses and recognize just because you read some shit online doesn't suddenly give you the right to begin criticizing the struggles of a family you don't even know. And I know this family. I've known them since their son, the child, developed fires. So it's like, seeing people criticize, it drives me fucking nuts, dude. When people say all this shit like, oh, you have cancer, all you have to do is take cannabis, really? Tell me why. Tell me why. And I'm big on medicinal use of cannabis, okay? I don't personally partake, but I fully support the medicinal use of cannabis. And people are so quick to be like, yeah, no, here, I'll show you. And then they send a meme. Are you kidding me right now? Are you fucking kidding me right now? You're like having no idea of how you're affecting these people who are already struggling so much within themselves. The kind of thoughts that go through people's minds as they struggle through major life circumstance, and you're over here like, yeah, no, the solution is very simple. All you have to do is, love and light that shit. Okay. Let me reel myself back in. Let's see. Yeah, Arizona is really something else. I lived there for a little bit. It's something else. It's a free-for-all state. I'm just saying, it's a freaking free for all state. If we're gonna be honest. Hmm. Let's see. Are there child? I believe they've spoken to quite a few different child advocacy groups over the years, because this is not the first time something has happened where they've fallen short of providing for and honoring his federally protected rights as a member of a, a protected group. Um, yeah. So they probably need a full-on lawyer who knows the intricacies of this. But it's just crazy. Ooh, Sedona is tainted. I'm just bursting everybody's bubble today. I'm being a little shit. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just an absolute asshole today. And it's okay for me to recognize that. I know there's going to be at least one person. Don't say that about yourself. No, I'm being real with myself. I know I can be an asshole. And I'm being an asshole today. um, ooh, that's a good chunk of change. That's a good chunk of change. 36 grand a year. That's a good chunk of change. Wow, Tania, you had someone attack you when one of your girls was diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, that's people are too much. They think they know everything, but they really have no idea. And I get sick of it. I really get sick of it. I am so tired of people that think their mindset is the mindset that's going to cure all the ailments of humanity. I'd like for you to know it's that very mindset that perpetuates the wounds of humanity. It's not specific groups of people that are a problem. It's not specific individuals. It's not a race. It's not a creed. It's not a lifestyle that's an issue. It's the mindset. It's a certain type of mindset that deals strictly in absolutes. Because if you deal with absolutes, anything outside of your group, your hive mind, is an issue, and you will fight that. It goes against the very process of reunification. So I don't care what your personal stance is, but if you feel like your stance is what's going to solve everything, and that if anyone behaves in any way outside of what you believe to be the cure for humanity, you're a part of the problem. You're a part of the problem. And does that mean I think I don't have a solution? I don't. I believe all of us are living equations, living components of a larger equation. And as we live our lives, we then will begin to solve problems within problems. Yep. And there are no issues caused by a god or any gods. Whether you believe in a god, many gods, or don't believe, it's the human being. That's the issue. Individual human beings. The mindsets that you allow yourself to really take into your core. That's the problem. Aliens. You got to say that with your hair all like aliens. That always cracks me up. So going back to Sedona, just like everything pure, I'm just a fucking bitter Betty today. Maybe I should just get off the live. But hey, this is a real look at some potential Mercury retrograde reactions. Okay. This is a very real, very honest. I'm not only going to come live when, all I can spread is love and light shit, because that's fucking stupid to me. Personally, that's stupid to me. Okay. So, Sedona, several years back, I believe it was 20, I want to say 2017, a major ley line within Sedona through a vortex was breached, parasitic breaching. Entire area is now saturated. So if you're going to go to Sedona, have fun. I don't know. Have fun. Shield yourself. And this is not something I read. This was something that I already was being told. But because when I lived in Arizona, Sedona was such a beautiful, calm space for me. I found myself back in Arizona. I think it was 2017. I want to say it was 2017. I was doing a gem show. And I was so stressed out from that gem show. And I told my husband, I want to stop at Sedona before we leave the state, because I just, I want to like realign myself and everything. And we went. It was the most horrible experience. This person who watched my live streams had just come from Sedona with her husband, and he, I guess, is not into spirituality. I don't remember very well. Something along the lines of he's not really into spiritual topics, but even he was like, let's leave. This place feels weird. And they just kept arguing, and I was like, oh, that's probably just them. So my family went. It was horrible, horrible. We arrived in Sedona. Within 30 minutes, we turned around and left. Driving from Tucson to Sedona. That's quite a bit of a drive. Okay. And we were there 30 minutes and we left. I was like, F this. We are never coming back to Sedona. It felt disgusting. There was a lot of conflict within my own family, like just shit that should have never happened, that has never happened. I was like, nope, nope, nope. So that's Sedona for you. Probably with the amount of attention, growing attention, and questionable shit people be bringing to Shasta, that's probably going to be next. So, I don't know. I don't know. Emmy's just spreading fear, or you can still go. You can still go. Reading cards is paganism. So is much of the religious holidays you participate in. Christmas is pagan. Fuck out of here. Easter's pagan. Quite a bit of pagan shit. Okay? Halos, that's pagan shit. Yeah. And I do want to clarify. I actually have no problems with pagans. It's that whole thing of, ooh, pagan, that's bad, that's evil. Why? Tell me, why is it evil? Why is it bad? Ooh, Michelle, now that you say that, I realized when I was looking at Airbnbs, I could see how the parasitic energy taking over and making it about money. It can be like that, where things can be very commercialized. That in itself isn't always parasitic. My business is a commercial business, and it's not something that I allow to enter into a parasitic realm, but something was done. The gist that I got was someone, they were able to form a group or bring a group together. Yeah. Oh, thank you. They were able to bring a group together and do some sort of process that taps into the ley line. And as they did that, it injected code distortion into the ley line itself. So that ley line's actually shut down. It's shut down. The shadows are what depicted as evil. What do you mean, Jenna? Smarty girl, I believe that process was started in 2016, reached a critical point around 2017, and then the ley line shut down sometime around 2018. But I don't know if you'll find this information online. This is just stuff that, you know, sometimes I'll be in the middle of something and then I'll get the information and I'm like, well, what the fuck's that got to do with me? I ain't going back there. I'm not going back there. You ain't got to tell me twice. I already seen what I needed to see. You don't need to keep updating me on that shit. But it just keeps letting me know. Boulder. Boulder something else. Are you in Colorado? Thank you, Jay Fresco. I know from being in proximity, I felt a mothership, a Zeta Reticuli mothership in the mountains in Boulder. I avoid Boulder. Let's just put it that way. I avoid Boulder. Yeah. Oh, smarty girl, I was just talking about myself. Like, that was my logic when I would get downloads about it. I'd be like, I don't fucking want to know more. I already saw what I need to see. But yeah, you're northeast of Boulder. It primarily stays confined to like Boulder County, primarily the Flatirons area. I believe that's what it's called. But the mountains over there, well, there's mountains everywhere, but that specific area, Boulder City, and then the surrounding areas. I've felt the reticuli encroaching into like Longmont area. They tend to not enter into like Estes Park, Rocky Mountain Park area. That's kind of like the cutoff. But yeah, no, they're there. They haven't tapped into the ley line yet by Boulder. You might find some information, but fragments of Lemuria were shifted up during tectonic plate shifting. It was shifted up, and parts of it are contained in the Rocky Mountains. And I think whatever fragments from Lemuria, the Lemurian shield, I don't know where the fuck this information is coming from. Fragments of the Lemurian shield splintered off and are contained, and it contains it. I think that's why that mothership is stuck there. It's stuck. And I'm just like, stay there, bitches. Don't be coming to my house. I'm not in Boulder, but don't be following me home as I drive on the freeway. Let's see. Isn't there some covert base near Sedona? For some reason, I want to say yes, but I cannot remember. My memory really is very faulty. I can't remember. I might have come across information saying there's some sort of covert base, or maybe like a military installment there. I don't know, but I want to say yes. My initial answer was yes. California is just I'm from California. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. But I'm not you, so. SoCal doesn't irk my soul as much as NorCal does. I'm from NorCal. So, as long as you're south of the Grapevine, it's not as pronounced. So, yeah, I mean, I say follow your gut. If you don't want to move, there's probably a reason for that. Hey, do we have to run an errand?
I just did them all.
There was something I needed to do too. I don't remember what though. Okay.
Anyway.
Ooh, in what area? What area? What area was a bomb detonated? Wait. I keep seeing white and darkish spirals in gold, silver, bluish. That's interesting. If not California, then where? You mean to live? That's going to vary with everyone. There's no one specific place everyone should go to. There's not. You know, you definitely have to consider what feels like home to you. My heart loves Colorado. I love Colorado. But we are consistently traveling nonstop. So Washington tends to feel good. I only drove through Washington once years ago, but it feels like it's full of life in Washington. Los Angeles is kind of like the new Las Vegas in the sense of Sin City. Been realizing that about. Ooh, Los Angeles has a lot of suffering. I lived in Las Vegas for a bit. It was so bad for me. We were there for like, what, 18 months?
Yeah.
I didn't come out of the house. Did I ever come out?
Not really.
My husband used to have to tell me, you have to stand on the driveway and just stand there for 5 minutes so the neighbors know I didn't kill you and bury you somewhere.
Yeah, come outside.
He's like, come outside. You know, what's funny, not long before we moved, left Las Vegas, the next door neighbor, the one right next to us, the wife comes and knocks on the door. And I happen to answer the door, and she looks so confused. And she's like, oh, you live here? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, oh my gosh, I've never seen you before. I'm finally seeing you for the first time since you moved in. What do you want? Why did you need to see me? She wanted something else. But yeah, that's how bad it was for me. There's such a sense of desperation and lost hope, and just, it's an ugly ass feeling. I can't do Vegas. I can't. If you're sensitive, go somewhere with a lot of trees. Yeah. Yep. A lot of trees, a lot of open space. That definitely would help. Well, see, I didn't live near the Strip. I didn't live near the Strip. The Strip didn't feel that desperate because all of the tourists were they go there knowing they're going to be squandering money. It's off the Strip that felt worse. The way the employment is in the Las Vegas area, North Vegas, South Vegas, all that area, they don't really have permanent employees. Most people that live there have to work 2 to 3 jobs, concurrent jobs, in order to reach the 40 hours per week to make ends meet. It's crazy. It's crazy. I was like, this is freaking crazy. The hotels don't care. They just cycle employees. They don't care. They don't care about you. I have been to Indiana. Huh?
It's like working at Disneyland or Great America.
Indiana, I can't say I like it. I've been a couple times. The energy feels a little bit weird, but nothing super.
That's where the RV broke.
Indiana?
The big ass pothole.
I thought it was in Detroit area.
No, before that.
We drove through Motor City. That shit was not. That was not popping. I was like, don't stop at the stop sign. Fucking keep rolling. Lock the doors. That shit was bad. And you guys, I have lived I come from Oakland, not the bougie part of Oakland. I've lived in ghetto ass places. I have no problem with ghetto ass places. If you're familiar with Arizona, we even consciously chose to live in Marysvale for a little bit. That's such a pretty ass dog. Okay, Marysvale is like Maryvale, or is it Marysvale?
Maryville.
Maryvale is like the fucking Compton of Phoenix. And I was like, it's so peaceful here. Fucking driving through Motor City, lock the doors, kids duck down. I don't want nobody seeing none of you through the windows. We ain't even playing.
I don't even remember that.
You don't remember me saying, don't stop, keep going, keep going.
I don't remember. It was a blur driving through that.
Yeah, no, I was like, fuck that shit.
All I remember was we're in Canada.
Ooh, interesting. You're feeling the rad energy, and the ozone there is highly damaged. The ETs come in and out with ease. Over Detroit area? Is that what you mean? Ooh, Alexa, listen to that. You wanted to move there, and your daughter said, we're not visiting Sedona ever. Yeah. Vegas, we lived in Vegas.
2014.
Was it 2014?
Yep. We left.
2014. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was bad. It was, and I'm very sensitive to other people's energy, and I couldn't stand, bruh.
You got it.
I couldn't stand going to the grocery store or anything like that. Is just, I would always be on the verge of tears. It was way too much. Let's see. Tina, that's very interesting. 1,000 nuclear bombs exploded, I'm assuming, in Nevada, New Mexico, and Arizona. Largest atom bomb explosion in New Mexico. California had nuclear meltdown near LA. You know what's funny is for 3 years, my soul had me driving, crisscrossing those states nonstop. I swear to God, we wouldn't stay in one area more than 48 hours. And I was just like, why the fuck? Can we not just stay for like a week somewhere? And yeah, consistently moving back and forth, crisscrossing that whole region nonstop for 3 years. It got pretty frustrating after a while. Very interesting, especially the Four Corners area. Four Corners. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. University Avenue, Melba be knowing. Melba be knowing. Yeah, I'm from the Bay too. I'm from the Bay, and it's definitely very different. Even just since I left California in 2014, it's become a completely different place since then. Completely different. And I don't know if you guys know this, but from the basically just north of the Grapevine all the way up till almost the Oregon border, it's one big hot box. It's one big hot box, and the entire place from the Nevada, it's not the Rocky Mountains. I don't fucking remember the mountain range. In Nevada. Whatever that damn mountain range is. It's not the Rockies. What was that? But that mountain range in Nevada, all the way to the Pacific Ocean. So the mountains at the Grapevine, and then the mountains before you hit Barstow, Vegas area, it blocks the air. And if you look on a Google map, you will see just north of the Grapevine, the Sierra Mountains. There we go. Thank you. That was going to drive me crazy. From the Grapevine all the way just south of Oregon. You look at that map, it's all green. You think it's like beautiful. No, that's all farmland, conventionally grown food. This is why my children are, um, they were immunocompromised for a while. For a while, their health was so severely affected. Glyphosate pesticide is being sprayed. It's aerial spraying. And it's like a big ass greenhouse. The whole, from central all the way to Northern California, it's a big ass greenhouse. And the ocean air keeps that from filtering out. It's just there. It's stuck between the ocean and the mountain. And you're breathing all of that in. And people are like, oh, all of this gluten-free shit, that's just a fad. No, they're fucking damaging your gut. Oh, it's a fad. It's just popular in California. Well, that's where all the shit's being grown. So yeah. Yeah, one of my kids actually was born with intestinal malrotation. He almost died. He almost died, and he had emergency surgery when he was 3 days old. And that was because we lived near a farm. Yeah, we lived near a farm. Yeah, it goes for the gut. It damages it. And they know this. They know this because after this is why we left California. This is why we couldn't return to California for a few years. But they know this. There's class action lawsuits after we left California, because all of this is medically documented for my children. After we left California, I found out about the class action lawsuit, and I contacted one of the law firms, and I told them about my child's medical documentation, what my children have been through. He informed us he couldn't represent us because our family's lucky. They're only currently representing the families that are terminally ill, families with children who have died. Puts it all in perspective. People developing cancers, all kind of crazy abnormalities, especially in the children. If you gestate while exposed, it affects the growth of the fetus. Yeah. So that's when I stopped being so angry about what happened to my children, because we were lucky. We left. Yeah. 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 California orange juice. That's interesting. California grown cuties are watered with fracking water. Just in case you don't know. A lot of the food that's grown, because typically in California, you might own the land, you may own acreage, but you have no mineral rights. And so if it's detected that there is oil on your property, they will begin fracking, and you have to deal with all of that. You have to deal with the fallout, because though the chemicals that are used to harvest the oil, it's not self-contained. It does enter the water table. It does enter the plant. The air, everything, your tap water, all of that. So definitely, yeah. And then you have people, you can't talk about these things because you're going to spread fear. Don't program. Is it spreading fear, or is it speaking truth? Things that people are uncomfortable admitting, because when you admit that there's a problem, really the next logical step is to either consciously know that you're lying to yourself, or be so enraged that you seek out a solution until the solution is implemented. You know. Yep, it's a lot, and you know, they don't even talk about this anymore. You mentioned Japan's nuclear damage. They never fixed Fukushima. That's leaking into the Pacific Ocean. It's killing the entire Pacific Ocean, all the way to the Pacific coastline of California, Oregon, all of those, Mexico. And yeah, they're like, oh, it's so odd. These animals are washing up on shore looking like they have radiation burns. What's so fucking odd? Y'all know Fukushima exploded. You know it's still not contained. It's still being released into the Pacific Ocean. So, yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy how far unchecked fear, unacknowledged fear will allow the empowerment of abuse. So, yeah, no, you have to speak about shit. You have to speak on shit. You have to share your thoughts. You have to share what you know. Fuck being scared. Don't share because you're, no, nope, nope. All right, guys, I gotta go in. Oh my gosh. Is there any legal recourse for that? Oh my gosh, Tania. Whatever's going to happen to humanity has to just happen already. It has to happen already, and everything shifted, tremendously shifted, and the new age allowed to start. This dilly-dallying is fucking killing me. I swear. It just, whatever needs to happen, just happen already and allow us to rebuild. If, you know, nothing bad has to happen, perfect. But whatever has to happen, let it happen already so we can rebuild. There's so many of us ready to do the rebuilding. Just fucking let it happen already and just rebuild. I'm not wishing for bad things. I'm saying whatever has to happen, let it fucking happen already. I gotta go, guys. Mercury is fucking me up. Just fucking me up. I'm gonna take a nap, drink some, I don't know, juice, water. I don't even know. I'll just take a nap. I don't even want to drink anything at this point. Lord knows what's in it. All right, guys. I'll try and do an update again soon. I just can't with any more ugly shit. I just can't.